So I'm Sarah Blades. I teach fourth grade at Lansdowne, and this is my student. You want to tell me your name?
My name is Demaji Lishan Watley Mormon.
And this is his little brother, which is an important part of the story. So when I met Demaji, he was actually in kindergarten. I taught his older brother. But this year, I had the pleasure of teaching Demaji, and on the first day of school, I give my kids an index card, and they say, "Dear Miss Blades, you should know." And Demaji said, "Dear Miss Blades, you should know I have no books at home." So I'm sorry I'm going to tear up. This is really important to me.
We do that a lot around here.
Wow.
He said, "Dear Miss Blades, you should know I have no books at home." So I worked really hard to try to get some books for Demaji, but I didn't have to work too hard because the next month we started Real Men Read. And he got to take one home. And he was so proud. And so I want him to tell you what he did, and then I'll tell you what it's done in my room. So what'd you do with that book?
So what I did is I took it home and I read it to my little brother. I read books for him sometimes when I get home from school, and a lot of times at night when he's about to go to sleep.
All right. That's what big brothers do. Big brothers do.
And I always incorporate the book for several days, so we do quizzes and we do comprehension. So this last quiz, they take it home and the parents know it's coming, and he was able to read it, and he got a 4 out of 4 on this last quiz. So.
All right. Yeah.
For me, it's very important to have people other than me reading to my kids. It's also important for us to be reading aloud to kids, because if we're trying to increase their fluency, we cannot have them only hearing themselves read, because then their fluency will only be as good as they are. So they need to hear other kids, they need to hear parents, they need to hear teachers read out loud to them. So I make it a point to spend 20 minutes a day reading out loud to my kids, and then once a month, Mr. Mabson comes and reads, and that really, they look forward to seeing him walk in that room. They are excited when he comes. They are silent when he comes. And they really respect him. And what's really neat about him is he remembers the book he read before, and he asks them, "Okay, so what did you remember from the book we read before? Let's tie that into the core content." And the great thing about these books is I found they tie into the New Wonders content pretty well. So he's been able to ask me the week before, "Okay, what are you studying? Where can I tie this in?" And so then he comes in and ties the vocabulary in, which is great. And I don't have to coach him. He does it all on his own. So it's a really good thing. My original scores in MAP at the beginning of the year were a 189 average. My mid-year scores were a 205 average. And I wholeheartedly believe that reading out loud to my kids, not just Real Men Read. I mean, Real Men Read has a big impact, but reading out loud to my kids has a huge effect on their scores and their comprehension level. So this program is very important, and I want to keep it around, because now DeWallen has 7 books that he took home. Demaji has 7 books that he's taken home. And by the end of the year, we'll have 18 books in this home that had none.
Wow.